You're listening to Greater Good Radio Hawaii. Please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. Today's guest is Colbert Matsumoto, Chairman and CEO of Island Insurance Company Limited. In 2004, Colbert received the Japanese American Citizens League Outstanding Community Service Award for his leadership in connection with the $9 million campaign to save the Japanese Culture Center of Hawaii from foreclosure.
So, Colbert, can we talk about the Japanese Cultural Center then? What's the circumstances around that and what happened?
Well, I've been a member of the Japanese Cultural Center for 10, 15 years, but I joined the board back in 2002, and it was right about when the announcement was made that the center was going to be put up for sale. And I was actually quite surprised at the time when it was announced, because when I agreed to join the board, nobody told me that it was about to be sold. So it was quite a shock to me. And,
it was distressed. Is that what happened?
Right. There was the organization was having severe financial difficulty because it had a large debt. It didn't generate enough cash flow to cover the debt, and it was just caught in a very difficult financial circumstance. And so back then, what happened was that there was a committee of supporters of the center that really felt that a last-ditch effort had to be made to try to raise the money necessary to clear the debt to save the center. And of course, there were many efforts that had been made prior to that, but I agreed with this group that that was important, and so I joined them, and together we formed this committee to save the center and launched this public campaign to raise the money. It was very a remarkable experience to be involved with, because at the time that we initiated it, I thought to myself, the probability of us succeeding was very low. And the thing for me was that most of the people I was serving with on that committee were in their 70s and 80s, and so they turned to me and they said, Colbert, you're the youngest guy, so you be the chairman, And so I thought, okay, great, I'm going to be the chairman of this campaign that is probably not going to succeed, and I'm going to have to at some point apologize to all the people that are connected with the cultural center and say, sorry we couldn't do it, And so it was pretty daunting, but we were able to make it, and it was a really remarkable experience for me to be involved with. And I know that for me, I'm going to count that as one of the highlights in terms of my life, because the community response was just awesome. It really made me feel good about having decided to come back to live in Hawaii, because that was why I came back to Hawaii. I felt that there was this kind of community spirit that could coalesce around things that we as a community felt were important, and so I thought that was really demonstrated in connection with the whole Save the Center effort.
How long did it take to get the center out of debt?
Well, we launched our campaign in October of that year, and by December 31st, we had raised enough money to stave off a foreclosure and satisfy the banks. It took us a few months after that to raise the total $9 million, but we had raised about $6 million by December of that year. So in about 2.5 months.
So what does that mean to you, though? What significance does that have in your life?
Well, I guess it taught me some things. I think that it was important for me because it taught me that sometimes the things that you think are futile aren't really futile. That it's worth making the effort, and that if you can organize and if you get the right people involved in organizing something, you can accomplish some great things. And so, I think that it demonstrates the power of organization. It demonstrates the power of grassroots efforts, because this was a grassroots effort. This wasn't something that was led by, corporate leaders. It was really a grassroots effort, and the contributors that enabled the campaign to become successful were basically individuals, thousands of individuals who sent in checks. It was really amazing because, after Thanksgiving, by the time Thanksgiving had come along, we had raised about $1 million, and I thought to myself, at this pace, we're not going to be able to make it. But for some reason, after Thanksgiving, the flow of checks just came in, it was just literally by the hundreds every day. And we had a couple of volunteers that were registering all the checks that we were receiving, and they said that they were overwhelmed. They couldn't keep up with the number of checks they had to process. And so it was a really heartwarming experience to be involved with. And of course, it only came about because we had so much support. The newspapers were really good, the TV stations. I mean, there were so many organizations that lent their support in terms of publicizing what the effort was about, and as a result, we were able to get our message out in a way that struck a chord with people.
And was the publicity or the coverage of the cause publicized more after Thanksgiving? Do you think that's what made such a difference in regards to when people donated?
No, I think that when the announcement came that the center was going to be sold, there was a lot of publicity then, and so what we did was that we tried to continue to generate ongoing publicity, and so that helped keep I guess what we were doing in the news. And as we started to announce our reaching different benchmarks, it continued to keep the story alive. And so I think that it was, having some people on board that understood the media and how to, make sure that we could keep our story active and fresh, that really helped.
Thanks for joining us today on Greater Good Radio. For more information or a transcript of today's show, please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. This is your host, Evan Leong and Carrie Leong, saying please join us next time for another episode of Greater Good Radio, Hawaii.